Act 5, Scene 2. The country near Dunsinane. So the scene takes place outside the castle of Macbeth. It's a chorus scene. It does not advance the action of the play but gives much information about it. And it's just the battle that is about to begin at any moment. The English army has reached the outskirts of Dunsinane. Macbeth is in his castle to defend himself against the invaders. Macbeth is reported by some to have gone mad and desperate and is fortifying Dunsinane, means protecting Dunsinane, from where he proposes to resist the approach of the English army. Meanwhile, the Scottish nobles such as Menteith, Angus, Caithness and others have revolted against Macbeth and have deserted him. Menteith is speaking to his friends who are going to join the English forces. He tells them that the English forces are led by Malcolm, Siward and Macduff. He is sure that all of them are eager to take revenge at any cost, as each one of them has suffered wrongs at the hands of Macbeth. The wrongs are so heartrending that even an ascetic will be provoked to stir himself and call everyone for a dreadful battle. Angus says that Macbeth cannot escape the consequences of the deadly murders he has committed. Revolts are taking place against his crimes and his treachery to Duncan and Banquo. His condition makes him feel that he is unfit to govern Scotland anymore. His soldiers obey him out of fear and not out of any speck of love. He is like a small thief who has put on robes stolen from a giant. Macbeth has realized that his title of kingship hangs loose about him like a dwarf wearing the robes of a giant. The Scottish lords feel Macbeth's mind seems to be at revolt for being imprisoned in his wicked body. All of them offer their services to their lawful ruler, so they join Malcolm, who is going to save the country from the tyranny of Macbeth. Therefore, they march towards the Burnham Wood. All the scenes of Act 5 are very short. There is swift moving action, and therefore, since the Elizabethan stage could not have elaborate scenery and curtains, it has to be broken into smaller scenes and to emphasize the contrast between the quick moving actions and events. In this final act, the scenes alternate between Macbeth's defiance and the liberator's patriotism. This scene is brief and highlights the determination of the forces opposing Macbeth. His castle is completely in disarray. The Thanes are fleeing and joining the other side of the army, that is the opponents, the enemy army. They are joining, they are deserting Macbeth. Macbeth is bound to be a mere spectator. Previously, Lady Macbeth was an efficient organizer, but now she is mentally ill. Macbeth alternates between furious activity and gloomy meditation. Like her, he is also losing self-control. Scottish nobles use the imagery of disease to indicate the life-giving qualities of the opposition to Macbeth. The wrongs against Malcolm and Macduff cannot be condoned. Macbeth is said to be mad and cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule. Here we have a figure of disease. Distempered means swollen and dropsy, a clothing image and a disorder image. Lennox implies that the shedding of the blood is needed to give new vitality to the nation, to dew the sovereign flower. The resurgence of natural vitality in Scotland is symbolized by the presence of Siward's son in Malcolm's army. Now going line by line, Menteith. The English power is near led on by Malcolm, his uncle Siward and the good Macduff. So the English power, that is the English army, is led by Malcolm, his uncle Siward and the noble Macduff, and it's very near. Revenge is born in them, for their causes would to be bleeding, and the grim alarm excite the mortified man. So revenge, the desire for revenge is like a raging fire for the heart-rending wrongs that Macbeth has inflicted on them. and it is such severe an attack, and such loss has been suffered, that it would arouse even a dead man to fight a bloody, grim battle. So it's like an alarm which would wake up even a dead man. Angus, near Burnham Wood, shall we meet them? That way they coming. So he asks that whether we should greet them or meet them at the spot of the Burnham Wood, and therefore they're coming from that way. Katniss, who knows if Donalbain be with his brother? So is Donalbain with his brother here present? So Lennox, for certain, sir, he is not. So Donalbain has not been accompanied by his brother. I have a file of all the gentry. So I have a list of all the people who are present in the army, present in the troops right now. And there is Seward's son even, and many other unrough youths that even now protest their first of manhood, and there are many other beardless youth, so those who have not yet become adults, and they are yet too young to be a part of this battle, yet they are here seeking to assert their manhood for the first time. So they are doing something serious for the first time. It seems something great, something serious for the first time. Mental. So what does the tyrant? So what is Macbeth doing? So Katniss, great Dunsinane, he strongly fortifies. So fortifies means getting something ready for attack and preparing it and strengthening it. So therefore Dunsinane, great Dunsinane is being ready, is getting ready for our attack. It's just waiting calmly, patiently for our attack. It's not going to attack us first. Some say he is mad, others that lesser hate him. So those who hate him, they're clearly saying that Macbeth has gone crazy, Macbeth is mad. And others, those who lesser hate him, they're calling it valiant fury. So they're calling it a madness which has risen out of valor, out of power, and therefore so he's angry, he's furious, and he's so much enraged that he is just getting ready such that the least attempt, the first mere attack at him, and he would burst out. So but for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule. But one thing is for sure, whether he is crazy or it is his valiance which is just getting ready to face the upcoming army or the upcoming attack by the enemy, but one thing is for sure, that his army is completely disoriented and they are completely disorganized, and they are not at all ready to obey him, and therefore it has gone beyond his control. So such disorderly forces he has right now under his rule. Angus, now does he feel his secret murder sticking on his hands? So now does Macbeth realize the vainness behind all his secret murders and how they have been weighing heavily on his conscience, and now that he is paying for it, and any moment he would be paying even in greater extent for the crimes that he has committed. Now does he realize that he has done something which he shouldn't have ever done? Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. So now every minute there is civil strife and uprisings, and faith has been deceived. So it is complete. His act of treason will be is acted upon or is answered through treason, as the Thanes are also leaving him, and it is breaking, and every minute new revolts have been rising. Those he commands move only in command. So those whom he reign over right now, they are obeying him just for the sake of obeying and as a part of their duty, and not out of love, honor, respect, or any personal feeling out of humanity, but just merely mechanically following his orders. Nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief? So now does he realize that what he had usurped, this kingship. It's just not meant for him, and he is completely unfit for it, as he himself might be able to see that he is ridiculously wearing somebody else's robe, as a giant's robe has been stolen by a dwarf, and when he wears it, it completely looks and feels unsuitable or unfit. And that's the same thing, that this title of kingship and being a king is being the king of Scotland is just not fit for Macbeth. So does Macbeth realize this now? So Menteith says, who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start? So in that case, who can blame his troubled senses for starting and trembling? So recoiling and starting, that means for acting upon, and trembling and shivering. So whom can we blame for his troubled senses? So when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there, so does all his conscience and all his mental faculties, do they accuse him for being a usurper? So, well, march beyond. So, Katniss says, well, march beyond. So, let's progress. Let's march on to give obedience where it is truly owed. So, let us obey our masters, the English people, that means the English army, and let us move according to that. So, Macbeth's army is moving mechanically, just taking orders merely, and Katniss says, let us follow our master's orders, for we truly owe to them, and they are lawfully the ones who deserve to be obeyed, so who deserve the kingship. So meet we the medicine of the sickly wheel, and let us meet Malcolm, who will act as the medicine for our diseased country. Sickly wheel, so that is for the diseased generation, for the diseased country. And with him pour we in our country's purge each drop of us, and with each drop of blood from our bodies, let us pour in our endless efforts into this battle, such that our country can be purged, can be purified, can be cleansed of the evil, and let us drive out this evil out of our country. Or so much, Lennox says, or so much as it needs to dew the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. So at least let us pour so much blood as is necessary to encourage the sovereign flowers, to encourage King Malcolm here is signified, and drown the weeds. So let us get flowers and drown the weeds, the unwanted ones, sink the unwanted ones, that is the death of Macbeth. Make we our march towards Burnham. So let's go, let's move and defeat the tyrant. Let's march towards Burnham.